Luke 19, 1-10, we're looking at the story of Zaccheus. And you arrive at the moment when Zaccheus is climbing his tree to look over the crowd and to see Jesus. And in a sense, Zaccheus is reaching out to Jesus. He's climbing the tree. He'd heard so much, but the crowd was preventing him from seeing the Lord. So you can't just see this as an act of curiosity. This is an act of faith reaching out. And the people that he was trying to see over, the crowd that was getting in his way, they weren't paparazzi or curiosity seekers. They were seekers after Jesus. Maybe they believed in him as prophet, maybe as healer, but they believed. And so did Zaccheus. Now there's something important here. You have to come to God firsthand. You cannot come on the say-so of a neighbour or a best friend or a parent or a child. You have to come to Jesus for yourself. Otherwise you could be conned, couldn't you? You have to know for yourself. You have to see him for yourself. You have to live to God firsthand. And if we're serious, then find your tree. That's what Zaccheus, he had to surmount the difficulties to get to Jesus. Find your tree. Because you have to glimpse the King in all his beauty for yourself. Because you see, there's always a crowd in the way. There's always stuff that prevents you. And for Zaccheus, it was the whole mountain of his sinfulness, of his past. And it's the same for us. Your past is in the way of you coming to Jesus. And if we're serious, we have to get the tree. And the glimpse is enough. Jesus sees Zaccheus, he responds to him, he initiates it. Zaccheus, come down, I'm coming to your house for tea. And in that immediate statement, Zaccheus is, something clicks, something breaks, something moves. And Zaccheus makes this remarkable statement of restitution. Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor, and if I've taken anything from any man by false accusation, I restore him fourfold. Now the Greek can be translated in two ways. One is with reference to the future, and the other is reference to the past. This is, behold, I give. So most interpret it the same to meaning that Zaccheus is so moved by Jesus' kindness, and he makes a resolve that I hereby promise from this day forward to give the half of my goods to the poor. But the Greek's got another intriguing possibility of a translation. It means that that's what Zaccheus already did. Behold, Lord, I give. It could mean that that was the pattern of Zaccheus' life. So if you translate it that way, then it means that everyone was maligning him for something that he didn't actually do. That his only real sin was being a tax collector, not by being a crook. That he'd been leading a righteous life, after all, according to the Mosaic standard. And what's going on in here is Jesus coming against public opinion and not private sin. Well, it can be translated in both ways. But Jesus looks at him and vindicates him before the crowd. He says, yeah, this man's a tax collector, but he's also son of Abraham. He is one of us. You might see him as an outcast. I see him as a brother. And there's something wonderful when Jesus comes into your life. He stands alongside you. He stands alongside you. This man too is my brother. This girl too is my sister. We are family. And the crowd of public opinion stands in the way of both. It prevents Jesus getting to Zaccheus and Zaccheus getting to Jesus. And Jesus pushes through the crowd and offers this incredible invitation. And it's Jesus who is accomplishing a miracle. Not broken bones, not blindness, but bigotry. And he's overcoming it. And right now, right away, you realize that ultimately it's not Zaccheus seeking Jesus. It's Jesus seeking Zaccheus. That somewhere in the mystery of God, that's why he was in Jericho, right? He'd come looking. And he offers the invitation, come down. He'd come to Jericho to seek him out. And Zaccheus was bound up, paralyzed, just like the guy on the stretcher coming through the roof. And Jesus reaches for him. And ultimately, we do not seek God. Ultimately, God is seeking us. God is spirit, and he moves through all creation and all space and time, and he is like the sun, and the flowers turn to the sun, and it's like an invitation. And then when his spirit moves close to us, we reciprocate. And he says, come on, come down, get out your tree. I'm seeking you. I want to, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice, I will come in and sup with him, and he with me. And we learn to distinguish the voice of invitation. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. My sheep hear my voice and they know my name. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that fantastic? And then he says, today salvation has come to this house, for this man too is a son of Abraham. So look how Jesus deals with this guy. No sermon, no rebuke, no putting him right about his past. Just fellowship, just food, just friendship. And he acknowledges him as a brother. He says, this man too is a son of Abraham. No, he's more than son of Abraham. You look at the verses. He's son of man. Jesus is son of man. They never called Jesus son of Israel, did they? He was son of man. And that means that anything that beats in the heart of humanity beats in his heart too. He identifies fully with Zaccheus' position and stands next to him. And the power of that invades Zaccheus, and salvation arrives. Amen. God bless.